On episode 1, we talk about social media, property, and how to make the perfect cup of tea.
It's now time for the Catch Up with Gatch Show. With your host, Gatch.
Hi everybody, this is another episode of Catch Up with Gatch. Pretty excited about this one, to be fair. Today's guest is Chris Targett. I've worked with him for probably about 3-4 years in a golf shop back in yesteryear. Seems like a million years ago, but I know what it stands for. I know exactly what he's about. I know what he does. I've just kept up with his social media content throughout the years, and I know hopefully in this hour or so hour or so podcast that we've got, it'll give you a ton of value. So I'd like to welcome Chris to the show. How you doing, mate? You all right?
I'm all right. Yourself?
Yeah, good. Thanks, mate. Good. Before we really get into it, I need to ask you quickly, and I didn't put it on the list of questions I was potentially going to ask you.
Yeah.
Tea malarkey. I know exactly how you work a little bit, but I keep seeing on social media you and your tea. 3 minutes. The tea bag's going to be in there for 3 minutes. Is that right?
So the perfect brew. I'll run this through, and this is going to be the most important part on this podcast, hands down. If you listen to anything, listen to the next 2 minutes of how to make the perfect brew. So, obviously, boil the kettle, standard. Tea bag in, pour the water over it, and leave. Don't put any milk in, don't put any sugar, and leave it there for 2 to 3 minutes. Check Facebook, check Instagram, do whatever you've got to do, but don't touch that tea bag after you've stirred it. 3 minutes. Then tea bag out, milk, then sugar. If you don't make your tea like that, then please don't listen to the rest of this podcast, because it's just pointless. Anybody that puts milk in with a tea bag, sacrilege. This is going to be the biggest talking point of the podcast. You do realise this?
Yeah. I'm probably aware. Is there a brand? Is there a brand?
Got to be Yorkshire Gold. Don't even talk to me if you're drinking PG Tips.
Oh, I agree with that. PG work best.
Maybe a little Tofu pyramid bag if you feel a bit cheeky on a Sunday morning. Not really into the Twinings. Maybe a peppermint tea now and again. But yeah, Yorkshire Gold or Yorkshire tea.
Leave it in there. Let the tea bag do the work. A little bit of milk. Is it Builder's Brew colour, or do you go milky with the tea?
Well, as I've hit 30, I've realised that I'm not full Builder's Brew colour anymore. Touch more milk in there. Cut down from 2 sugars for 1, just because standard as you get older. But yeah, it's all about a dash of milk. Don't put loads of milk in it. Just drink hot milk if you're going to do that. But yeah, most of my Instagram content will be me making a brew. So yeah, if you want to head over to my channel, that's
exactly why I asked you, because I thought it keeps going on about it. I'm going to ask you straight up a perfect cup of tea very quickly. So yeah, that's why I asked you. I knew there'd be something, because I remember working with you and you were like, "What's that?" To know somebody bringing milky tea. What's that? Hey, what are you doing? Don't make one if you can't make one. I remember it crystal clear, that conversation. So good. Just to get you into it, really, I'm just going to ask you some fire questions more than anything else. If that's all right. Favourite podcast at the moment, apart from this one?
Favourite podcast? Do you know what? I'm listening to a woman who specialises in LinkedIn at the minute. Her name's Helen Pritchard. She hasn't got a necessary podcast I listen to, but I'll listen to episodes that she's on other people's podcasts. So Mike Winnett, not another dickhead with a podcast, I think it's called.
Yeah, I listen to it as well. Yeah, good.
Obviously Gary V, he's just amazing. I find with Gary V, I'll listen to him solid for a week, and then I'll kind of get a bit bored of his voice, and then I'll pick him up again in a few weeks.
I'm exactly the same. I've not listened to an ounce of content for a month, but you guarantee I'll go through a 2-week period of going, let's catch up with everything.
Exactly. Yeah. So those are my podcasts at the minute that I'm listening to.
Cool. Excellent. Yeah, I'll look out for Helen Pritchard. Mike Winnett is funny. He is funny with what he comes out with and stuff. So, yeah, anybody check those out. Favourite food and restaurant, if you've got one?
Food and restaurant? I think restaurant, I'm going to be a bit boring and say like Miller and Carter and steak. Always steak.
It's become a popular choice in the questions I've asked so far is, what's your favourite food? Steak. Everyone goes steak, which is good. I can't disagree with that, can you?
Bistro rump from Miller and Carter, medium rare, with the beef dripping sauce, and then your iceberg wedge tells a lot about a person as well. That's blue cheese and Stilton. Strong.
Told you it'll give you a ton of value from this, didn't I? I told you he would do.
We'll talk about this in a bit.
We're talking more serious stuff.
I like that it's just a bit of it's a cool opening.
Well, hopefully that's the idea behind it. On a scale of 0 to 10, how weird are you?
I'm like the opposite of weird. I'm just like logically boring, really. So I'd say a 1 or a 2. I was thinking about this question earlier, and I thought, how weird am I? I'm not weird at all. So yeah, just practical. That's the word.
That is how I would literally describe myself as well. Practical thinking. Yeah. I don't do anything stupid. So fair enough. And I know you're a tidy person anyway, because I remember you always getting us to tidy up the golf shop. Room, desk, or car? What are you cleaning first?
I think it would be desk, room, then car.
Desk, room, car. Okay.
Yeah, desk. Well, I say that, but desk is an absolute bomb site at the minute working from home. But yeah, it would be desk, room, and then car. I'm not a huge car fan. Appreciate a clean car, obviously, but my brother's a massive car fan. He's got a Nissan Skyline, like a vintage one. He absolutely loves it. He knows the ins and outs of it. For me, sorry, Matt, I missed that.
I suppose that's actually perfect, clean, pristine, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the way he had his. But yeah, I'm not a massive car person.
Cool. And this is a weird and wonderful one as such, and I'll tell you the reason why. Tell me something that's true, or tell me something that almost nobody agrees with you on. So the other day, I had somebody tell me that vegans are going to kill the cows because they're going to eat all the grass. And that's I was like, I need some scientific proof. But okay, cool. Nobody agrees with you on it. That's it. So have you got anything like that?
What do I believe? Nobody else does.
Doesn't have to be true. It could be true. Definitely.
I think probably being a business podcast, probably one of the ones that I hear all the time is people say you should never tell people what you're up to. We should never tell people what your goals are. I think I saw a quote that said there's 2 things in life to be successful. 1, don't tell everybody what you're up to. And then 2 is obviously blank. For me, I talk about everything that I do because it can open up so many doors. And I've had arguments with people about this, saying that you should keep everything to yourself. You should only talk with actions and things. And I'm like, yeah, okay, that's fair enough. But why don't you tell people about what you're up to? Because they might be able to help you with that situation. So yeah, that's probably one thing that other people have quite strong opinions about compared to what I believe. That'll be one. That'll be it.
Yeah. I was going to say, I thought you might say something like free work or something, but yeah, no, okay, that's equally as good, isn't it? Worst ad on TV? If you watch ads, I don't, but if you do.
Probably these ones like Pretty Little Thing or, like these women's dress shop things. Order off the internet and it's just a bird just dancing around the screen with no talking, just like a Dua Lipa song or something like really mediocre song with a woman dancing around in a floral dress in fucking October. Yeah, that's probably one of the worst ads that I've seen.
And worst job you've had?
Worst job I've had? Probably direct golf, collecting range balls at 5 a.m. on a Saturday morning just before a 9-hour shift. That's probably one of my worst. Like direct golf was a great job. I tell you what, another one was actually I worked for Direct Line in a call centre, and you had to try and sell breakdown cover over the phone, but you weren't. It was called non-advisory sales, so you weren't allowed to give advice, but you still had to sell. So you could just give them all the layout, like this is you can be picked up from home, blah 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 blah, and then they might say to you, "Well, which package do you advise?" I'm not allowed to advise, and you have to try and sell it like that.
Was that sort of financial guidelines or something? Or was that just Direct Line as a
financial? It had to be called non-advisory sales, so you weren't allowed to actually give them any advice, which was the weird. And it was like, well, how many you sold today? Ooh, people just decided not to have it because you can't persuade them. So yeah, that was the weird. But yeah, collecting golf balls at 6 o'clock on a Saturday morning was probably one of my worst jobs at Direct Golf.
Followed by an hour's training, followed by a 9-hour shift. Yeah, remember it well. Still lives in the memory, strong to this day. Going into a little bit more serious stuff, obviously, sort of career to date. I don't know how far you want to go back, but just an overview of career to date, and then of course what you're up to now.
Yeah, of course. So started work at 15 years old at Direct Golf UK, where started working with Gatch. So I worked at Direct Golf, worked at Direct Line for a bit as well, part-time. Then I went to Comet, then I went back to Direct Golf. Then I went to Dixon's Estate Agents, completely change of direction. Worked at Dixon's, then started in the estate agency game. Now work at Visors Estate Agents and run my own company On Target Design, which is websites, digital marketing, specialising in more like the mortgage advisors field, and set up a company called golfcoursevouchers.com, which is going to be going live very soon. And that's selling golf vouchers to the gift market opposed to the golfers market. So we used to have it at the golf shop. A wife would come into the shop and go, what balls do I buy him? Or what do I get him for Christmas? It's that market that we're targeting. So people that don't know what to get the golfer that's got everything, none of those novelty socks, none of those exploding golf balls, get the golf instead.
Probably a sensible choice, isn't it? I think that's the one thing we sold at Direct Golf was a game of golf. And I think, they used to come in, for anybody context of the situation, you should have a wife and a daughter would come in, I need some golf balls, it's his birthday. And then the first question all of us would ask, what's he playing with? I don't know. Right, okay. Well, how much? And then we'd have to search through the system. It'd be like a 20-minute job just for $9.99 golf balls. So
the thing, it's like, how much does he spend on golf balls? And the wife goes, oh, he only spends 20 quid. You full well knowing that he's been in here and bought a box of Pro Vs at 40 quid and not told his missus. Do you know what I mean?
That's so true. Yeah. That's it. It rings truth, though, doesn't it? Because the amount of people that used to go, don't tell the wife I've bought a new set of clubs, and he used to put the iron covers on, so they wouldn't know. That's true.
We used to be, Chris, I'm buying this set of irons, but can you put 300 quid on my card and I'll give you 200 cash? Like, why? Well, I told the missus I was only going to spend 300 quid on my golf clubs. It's just, you'll see on the bank statement.
Memories. That is memories. So that's pretty much what you're up to now then. So what is it that you're doing now? Obviously, I think one of my questions was dream profession. I'm assuming from that, knowing you pretty well, and for the two people that are listening, is this pretty much where you want to be at? Is this sort of the dream profession at the moment?
My dream profession would be something design, something creative. I like to be quite creative. So I'm not weird. I'm not like Paloma Faith kind of creative. But I'll be creative in my own way, especially with websites, I think, because there's like a structure of it. But, well, everybody's goal is to sit by the pool every day and only have to do 2 or 3 hours of work, isn't it? That's the dream profession. But I love design. I love creative side of things. That would be my dream profession.
Now, coming straight off about work again, a little 3 or 4 probably easy questions, nothing to do with career or business or anything. Best film?
Best film. Schindler's List.
Oh, good choice. Favourite TV show?
Probably The Big Bang Theory.
That's...
Bit of Sheldon in your life if you've not got him in there at the minute.
Get him in there. Netflix, Amazon, Disney Plus, or Sky? If you had to choose one, what are you going for?
Netflix.
100% on Netflix.
Yeah,
Everyone's going for Netflix, aren't they? Everybody's going. Oh, I've got Disney Plus at the moment, but I haven't got Netflix. Weird, isn't it? And I've got Amazon, but I haven't got Netflix. You what?
Do you watch much on that Disney Plus?
Well, because it's a bit, geeky, isn't it? A little bit Star Warsy stuff and the Marvel type of stuff. I'll watch all that thing, and there's loads more TV shows of those coming up. So I've got it in probably advance a little bit. To be honest with you, I think it's more the other people and how to using it to bloody print test stories and stuff because they're all into that. Okay, so I'll probably waste 50 quid for 6 months.
Straight after this podcast, Gatch is going to be downstairs, full on tutu, dancing away to what is it, like one of the Princess Diaries films. That is going to be the next podcast episode. Gatch,
you know me too.
Edition.
You know me too well, Chris. That's the problem. You know me too well. Favourite song or song that you're into at the moment?
Favourite song ever is Somebody Else's Guy by Jocelyn Brown.
Oh, okay. Don't think I've ever heard of that one. I'm rubbish with names anyway. I'd probably listen to it and go, oh, that one, okay. But in terms of the actual name of the song, I ain't got a clue. So anybody who's actually wants to check that one out, I'd suggest check it out. Right, so I know starting a career, we went through direct golf and so on and so forth. And again, I mean, I can do it if you want, but explain just what direct golf was as a whole. I think it was probably at peak golf time, golf superstore time, peak of membership time where direct golf started pretty much. It was when golf was very much a massive sport in this country. It still is, but it's just slightly different now. You started your career there. What's direct golf and what made you choose golf?
Started there as a 15-year-old, part-time lad on a Saturday, dusting the shelves, sweeping the range. I remember the first day that I swept the range and I got blisters from the broom. That was sweeping the carpet. That was nice. That was my first day. I think testing me out.
As well.
Making the brews, the standard kind of stuff. Then I started as full-time there. And I went up to Edinburgh for a few months to manage a store up there. That was quite cool because I got family up in Edinburgh. And then came back to Solihull, and that's where I worked before I went to Comet. So direct golf was good. Yeah, they were the main competitors against American golf. You'd do £100 commission on a Saturday, which was just fucking amazing. You'd be like 17 years old making £100 on a Saturday for like just sweeping the range and selling a set of irons. Those were the days, man. But yeah, direct golf was good.
I think people don't quite realise, is they, that those type of environments, American golf, and especially when we were there, direct golf, it was all sales. So yeah, you love golf, and yes, you could be a golf pro, but you were actually a salesman deep down. You were trying to sell, and the whole commission structure and the whole salary packet, they were just like, right, pretty much you had to sell your nan some days just to make a few quid. It was sort of how they got you a little bit.
Particular products. I remember one year when direct golf bought in thousands of sets of Nike Pro combos, and they put them in a crate in the middle of the shop, and I think there were maybe 149 or 249 or something, and they just flew off the shelf. And that was when I think manufacturers didn't really know the retail game. They couldn't forecast selling numbers, so you'd have all this excess stock, and that's where direct golf did so well. Whereas now, and that's why direct golf ultimately went under, was because everything's made to order now. You don't get the good deals as you used to. You don't get the warehouse deals because clubs are made to order. And I've been out of the golf industry for years, but I think you can't really buy a set off the shelf anymore. You have to go in and get fitted, and that's how good golf should be done, I think.
Yeah, I remember back in another golf shop, Nevada Bob's, before we went to direct golf, they actually said we know exactly how many sets of clubs we're going to sell a year, so we can't do bulk anymore. You can't buy 50 sets and put it out cheap just to get the person in, hopefully to buy something else that's actually going to make a profit. But, I mean, it's the same with the supermarkets at the moment, isn't it? I think what will generally happen is that probably while they're running out, people panic buying. At the same time, they've probably forecasted, well, we're going to sell this much in March, and this has happened, and then they've sold out, haven't they? So
that's where forecasting has become a lot more clever, hasn't it? People have developed systems to stop overspend, and that's what we're beyond in the world.
Waste. Waste. And so the company overall saves money, which is the whole point. So, yeah. So what was good and bad about direct golf? I mean, I know we could probably do an actual podcast just on direct golf. To be fair, it probably lasts about 2 hours about funny stuff that we used to get up to in there, and some of the rubbish stuff and how the commission structure were. But as a quick overview, what was good and bad about it?
Good stuff. Keep it short. Good stuff with the staff. You always had a laugh. You did 12-hour shifts there, and you had to get on with the people that were there. That was the great part of it. The other part was the probably the way that people were treated in some scenarios, should we say.
I've probably got a good idea what you're on about, yes. I don't mind overly just explaining to the audience what it was. Sometimes you would literally, the famous saying was, and we used to say it all the time to each other as a joke, just to sort of get us through that joke, was, well, if you don't like it the way it is, you can go to McDonald's and flip burgers. That was pretty much the sort of the line and statement, and and I think it was to the point where you go, well, you probably earn more money doing that, and then they sort of changed a little bit the way they sort of
valued staff. That was,
the way the value in staff was nothing. They used to, I think they used to play on the point of you loving golf stay there a little bit. You would, because you didn't want to work anywhere else. Fine.
The thing is, you didn't want to let the guys down in the shop. And I mean, I was on and off at Direct Golf for 9 years, so kind of been that bad, obviously. But it was, you just didn't want to let the guys down the shop. If you were told to come and collect balls on a Saturday morning at 6 a.m, you'd only do it because you didn't want to let the rest of the guys down in the shop. And it would be, everybody would turn up. There wouldn't be one member of staff that would turn around and say, no, I'm not doing it, because you wouldn't want to let your mates down.
I agree with that. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because we all got on, so just in case we just do it just so hopefully you could turn up on Saturday, pretty much. Cool. And then you said you went to Dixon's, which is part of Countrywide, didn't it? So you've done you've gone from golf industry or retail, and then you've gone, right, I'm going into the property industry. I remember you telling me, for all those delivery days in the back, me and you used to do with Ant, you said, I'd love to get into the property industry at some point. And literally, I think it was only a few months after I left, you pretty much left as well, went straight into it. So how did that all come about? Was it just a case, I'll apply and see what happens? And...
Yeah, I sent my CV out to, I think, 4 or 5 different estate agents, and I got one call from Dixon's, and telephone interview, full interview, and got the job. Yeah, I thought to myself, I want to get into property. My uncle that I've helped him on houses before, he's in property, and I just thought it's an industry I really want to get into and get to know. So that's when I went onto Dixon's estate agents, and I was there for 2014. I think it was maybe 3 or 4 years maybe at Dixon's. But yeah, the training there is absolutely phenomenal at Dixon's. To be fair, if you're thinking about getting to an estate agent, go to a big company, go to a Dixon's that are owned by Countrywide, go to a Connell's, and really get to know your trade there, because they'll train you fantastically. Right,
cool. Okay, that's a little nice bit of advice. Anybody wants to get into it? Was there any particular? Was it your uncle? Your reasoning that you also worked for your uncle a little bit? About why you wanted to get into the industry?
He had a portfolio of properties, and I wanted to get to know properties, because that's one of my goals, is to have a portfolio of properties. I want to get to learn the ins and outs of property, so I know what I'm looking for when I go to buy a property. And I've said property about 7 times there in the same sentence. So I'm trying
properties.
Yeah. So yeah, it was to get to know the industry. That's ultimately why I did it.
Even though you've got your other bits and bobs like On Target Design and this golf voucher sort of business that's hopefully as well, you're still doing it, aren't you?
Yeah, still doing it. Yep. So working with an independent estate agent in Redditch, called Visors Estate Agents. So again, still in the industry. It's working with an independent is completely different to working with a corporate company, because the independence is whatever customers you've got on your books, they're just your customers. Those are the one ultimately that are paying the bills. Whereas the corporate company, there were so many different arms to the business compared to just this. This is more looking after the actual people themselves, I feel.
Right. Okay. So I suppose that's how. Well, ultimately, I suppose like with any sort of industry, though, isn't it? It's how the little man sort of copes, isn't it? Or the independence for anything. You look after your base of customers very well, to the point where they don't even look at you.
Well, that's where I think the estate agency model, and this is what Purple Bricks have done, is going down the American route, where you're not so much dealing with a company anymore, you're dealing with a person, and that you buy into that person. So if you can create a personal brand around your face, whichever company you go and work for, or do you know what I mean? Whatever you do, they'll always follow you. So if I went and set up on my own tomorrow and just did everything estate agency, I could have a book of people that I know will just deal with myself. And that's where personal branding is so important, which we'll come on to in a bit. But yeah, that's where I think the estate agency world's going. It's going more towards the personal approach rather than these huge conglomerates that control the whole market.
And that's where Purple Bricks and a few others have made a massive dent in them recently, just because it's it's cheap, and it's, they haven't got an office to worry about. It's all online. And it's just people are usually good, from what I hear. I've never dealt with anybody. Yeah, from what I hear, they're usually good.
At the beginning, a lot of estate agents had like this vendetta against them. You've screwed the industry up. You've reduced commissions of selling houses. But actually, it's good, because all the estate agents have had to step up their game. The big difference between Purple Bricks and a high street estate agent is Purple Bricks, you pay them the fee at the beginning or after 10 months. So you'll pay them for all the advertising, everything they do, regardless if they sell or not. Whereas a high street estate agent, you don't pay them till it all goes through.
I suppose it depends on the area where you live. I suppose somewhere like Stratford, for instance, out on the market within a day, it's sold 9 times out of 10. I suppose it'd be useful for purple bricks, I guess. Elsewhere, I suppose it depends on the area.
If you're confident in selling your house, or you're confident in dealing with everything, that's fine. But there might be, for example, a Mrs. Smith that lives on her own who doesn't want to meet the people that are viewing a house. She doesn't want to have to deal with all the after sales and the solicitor's process. That's where these online estate agents probably aren't the best for her. But in other essence, they've got a completely different end of the market. You can't appeal to everybody with estate agency. You need to have like your core customers that you're going to deal with.
See, okay. So it depends on what you want, really, isn't it? I guess if
of course,
online or
exactly. Well, you either go to Iceland or you shop at Waitrose, depending on what you want.
Yes. Yeah. That's the status, I guess, as well. I'm not going to go into that. That's my theory on it anyway. But cool. And then you've on Target Design. Tell us a little bit about that, because I know when I was working with you, we pretty much did it simultaneously, didn't we? Where I did a college course and I went to night school to do a little bit of coding, and so did you at the time. You know, we didn't really realise we were both doing it, so we just sort of mentioned it in passing one boring day in the golf shop during the week. And from there, I know you've gone from strength to strength, haven't you, with your On Target Design, isn't it?
Yeah, on Target Designs, that's my company. On Target with 2 T's at the end, because that's my surname. Obviously, there'll be loads of typos in that. So on Target Design, did the same. Did a night school course. Realised there's a lot of stuff out there on the internet, which if you are on lockdown at the minute, you could learn a hell of a lot about web design if you've ever been into it. It's not for everybody. Learned a lot, and then really learned how to pick up customers. And my main thing was just talking to people about it. Obviously, in the industry of houses, you meet so many different people. You're out there constantly speaking with people. So yeah, I've learned how to build websites, but more importantly, I've learned how to sell myself as a company. So yeah, it's going from strength to strength.
Good. Yeah. I don't know, you're doing sort of looking after mortgage advisors. You were saying just off the recording, didn't you? You were saying you were looking after mortgage advisors, social media and stuff.
Yes, yeah. So I've kind of fallen into this, but it's an industry that I quite enjoy actually. Looking after mortgage advisors and their social media, because a mortgage advisor, talking about this personal branding again, it doesn't matter which company they work for. If you've had your mortgage through somebody, you want them to try and refer you to more people. That's where we find Facebook's probably the most effective. A Facebook page for a mortgage advisor is fantastic because that Facebook has got that community feel to it, and it's where most word of mouth business comes from. So I'll help them set up their Facebook pages, run their Facebook pages, run competitions, help them get into local community Facebook pages, and I'm really enjoying it. Yeah, so it's going really well. I'm going to set up a separate, almost like company entity that's just going to be called like Social for Brokers, and it will just revolve around mortgage brokers and helping them with their social media.
Cool. Well, you can plug that later. That's something you can definitely plug. And you said you've done a little bit of a U-turn and started flirting again with the golf industry again. You're talking about the perfect gift in terms of the golf vouchers and so on and so forth. Just with the way golf is now, do you think that will be sort of perfect timing? Just because memberships will drop because of what's going on with the virus and so on and so forth. Do you think you might just...
it never came off the back of that. It was I've been brought on board to look after the website and the marketing side of it. So if you see the hashtag give the gift of golf, you'll know that that's golfcoursevouchers.com. And what it's about is people like the golf industry that we spoke about, the gift industry. There's not much out there at the moment. But what's actually happened with COVID-19 is it has forced people to think, well, I maybe can't have that golf membership, but I could buy a golf course voucher to go and play a course that I've not played before. That's the market that we're going to be going after. It's more the gift market, but I think now by default we are going to get a lot of people that, okay, so I've not paid my £1,000 to join Smith Street golf course, but I could maybe pay £500 for different golf course vouchers up and down the country.
Yeah, that's pretty much I was thinking as well when you mentioned it to me. I thought you're probably might crack it because people aren't going to afford the grand a year anymore, but they might afford 2 rounds of golf a month. Keeps them interested in the game. It's cheaper.
And you know what it is, Gatch? It's with a golf course. If I phoned up a golf course tomorrow and I went, right, I want to play golf this week, how much is it? Well, it's £30 on a Tuesday. We're doing a special offer on a Friday at £40. On a Saturday, it's £60 between the hours of 4 and 3. But you can't play then. You can't play then. Mate, I just want to know, how much is it for me and my mate to come and play golf? Whereas we're taking all of that out of it. They go to golfcoursevouchers.com. They see Smith's golf course is 40 quid for a 2-ball or 70 quid for a 4-ball. Which one do you want to book? And those vouchers will have it clear on the bottom when you can play and what times. So there, I know I've spent 40 quid. I get a code. I phone the golf course and I go, mate, I've got this code, blah, 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 blah. Can I book it in for tomorrow? Yeah, no worries.
Away you go. Yeah, it makes perfect sense to me. Moving back onto the website side of things, you were saying about your particular for the golf voucher side of things. Just for anybody listening, again, probably for the 2 people that are going to listen to this, what makes a good website? And also as well, off the back of that, I hear there's still countless to this day when I'm talking to somebody about a website, I'm going to say, well, I don't need one. And I automatically go, okay, but if they don't, they don't. I don't try to push it. I'm like, okay, cool. If that's the way you are, that's. I understand the reasoning behind that, and I leave it at that. I just wondering what your take on the 2 would be.
If you don't have a website, you're simply going to lose business. What is the first thing you do when you hear of a company? You go and Google them. If you haven't got a website, you've lost them. Simple as that. That's so many people I've spoken to. You are simply going to lose business if you haven't got a website. What makes a good website is one that's, I always say that the homepage needs to have a screenshot of what your business is about. So you've got to have good images on there, but you've got to have your message on there, how I can get in contact with you, what you do and what services you offer. You just need a screenshot on the first page of what that encapsulated really. But if you haven't got a website, you're going to lose business, simple.
And you don't mean lose business by lose what you've currently got business-wise. You mean anybody, potential new business to keep growing at you as well. That's the key.
Right, Mr. and Mrs. Smith are sat at home and they want to learn about woodwork. That's what they want to do. So they speak to a few friends and they say, there's a guy called John Smith who runs this woodwork class and it's phenomenal. It's absolutely amazing. Oh, amazing. Let's Google it. Google it. There's nothing on Facebook. There's nothing website. First thing you question, do they actually exist? Are they giving me the right name? And then you delve a bit deeper and you realise that they've got a Yale.com listing, but they haven't got anything else. Well, to me, I want to see the kind of products that's Mr. and Mrs. Smith want to see the products that are being made in that woodwork class. They want to learn a bit about John, where he's got his expertise from. If they can't get hold of that information, they're then going to Google woodwork classes near me. And if you don't come up in that search, you've lost them already. Why build up that personal brand? Why build up that authority in your field for them not to put an advertisement out there about how good you are?
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think you've literally just hit the nail on the head. Yeah. Okay, swiftly moving on from that. I mean, I know some people have got Facebook pages but haven't got a website, which I'm always like, so you're on the right thing, Facebook, but you haven't got a website. That doesn't make any sense. They just won't commit to having a website and such. From a digital marketing sort of place, from a point of view as well, Facebook ads. There seems, or any type of ads, from LinkedIn to Google AdWords to whatever it is. There still seems to be a debate if they could or not for this reason. I don't know why, but there still is a debate about it. Good, bad? What's your thoughts on it? I know what you're going to say.
I haven't really delved into Facebook ads much. I've run a few campaigns for people. I say campaigns, I've run some adverts for them. My essence is it's the only way that you can target adverts to specific people, specific age, specific sex. There's nowhere else that you could retarget somebody in such a way. So I think they are phenomenal, especially, I mean, for example, we ran one the other week that was 111 quid and it was in like 30,000 people's news feeds in a particular target that we wanted. So for that, it's phenomenal. There's no other way. If you went and dropped 100 quid's worth of leaflets with labour and everything and put them through people's doors, you're never going to be able to do 27,000 houses. So for me, it's very good to get the name out there, but I know there are gurus out there that can turn 100 quid into 500 quid's worth of leads or whatever the cost of the product is. So yeah, I do agree with Facebook ads, but I'll be honest, I'm not a pro in them, so I couldn't really pass comment on how effective they are. But I think it's a good way to spend money.
But even just that, if you're not a pro and you've just hit, how many customers up 30,000 or whatever it was?
30,000 people, yeah.
100 quid, just get your name out there, then no brainer.
And I think so many people fall into the trap with Facebook adverts is they think they're going to get so many leads straight away. It's like it's the magic thing that we'll spend 100 quid on them and we'll get 5 leads. It doesn't work like that. It might be that person sees your advert, then in 2 months' time, Googles your company again because they've remembered your name and you've got a lead off that, but you haven't got any way of proving that person originally saw your company through Facebook adverts. But it is out there.
You've just got to continue it with the ad, haven't you, a little bit? It's like a newspaper ad, isn't it? Eventually somebody's going to pick up the phone and speak to you. But the difference is you just guarantee people are on Facebook all the time. That's where everybody's eyeballs are at the moment. And
If you think stupidly, if you think completely out of the box, carrier bags for supermarkets. So if somebody sat there in the advertising department and went, we're going to take all the logos off our carrier bags because it's costing us 20 grand a year and we're not seeing the return on investment of that. People would be like, that's just stupid because the name is on the carrier bag just so our brand is out there and people get to know who we are. You wouldn't cut that 20 grand because you're not seeing a direct correlation between carrier bag printing and leads. But what you are seeing is you are getting your name out there and subconsciously people are seeing your brand of Sainsbury's over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Not necessarily that they're buying straight off the back of that, but it's like the 7 points of contact, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I remember Direct Golf running out of bags at once, and I remember the owner of that flipping out because he said, who's going to know where they've shopped? The person passing them the street. Same thing, isn't it? I remember that vividly. Moving on quickly from that is our platforms at the moment. There's millions of them at the moment on their platforms and social media. What at the moment is your take on what's hot? What is, if you're lucky, haven't got any social media accounts, but you're thinking, I want to grow as a business, but I want to try and get some leads off it. Yes, it's a long-term project with any social media. Is there one that particularly stands out in your mind that you go, right, you need to be on that end of?
Depends on the product or the service, but I would always say Facebook. Facebook's still number one for me. Instagram is a great way, in my eyes. So Facebook to be really quite business focused, a bit of personality branding in there. Instagram is more about the day-to-day running of the business, your silly Instagram stories, good images that you're uploading, those kind of things. LinkedIn is really good for lead generation, especially if you're a service-based business. TikTok, obviously it's a huge app, but I don't use it. I can't really give any comment on it, but I think it's going to be big. And then Twitter, haven't used in years. In my eyes, personally, I feel like Twitter's a bit of like a news feed rather than a social platform.
Yeah,
but TikTok's going to be massive. If you can nail it now, mate, get on it.
I use Twitter purely for that. If I'm honest, I can't remember the last time I've actually posted something. I might make a comment on something. But yeah, just in terms of a quick what's hot at the moment, what's trending, let's have a quick look. Most of my stuff. Anyway.
What's Piers Morgan arguing about?
Yeah, who's he calling such as such. That's pretty much that. Well, let's go back onto TikTok then very quickly. What are you saying it's going to be hot for? Is there any particular purpose behind that? Saying it's going to be.
This is really just echoing what Gary Vee's saying. What social media is made for kids to hide from their parents. So Facebook, they created Facebook because it was a university thing. They wanted to upload things what they were doing at university without the parents seeing. Parents then got on Facebook. They moved to Instagram stories and Snapchat a bit was, look, we're going to be creative. This is our youngsters platform. And then the average age then crept up. TikTok is a place where kids can do stupid videos. Well, it was before their parents could see, but now the parents are on it. And I mean, I'm not being funny, but if I'd released some of the videos that are on TikTok at the minute, I'd have been bullied as a kid. You know what I mean? If you imagine it, if you uploaded a video of you and your mate kicking heels and doing this dance, the guy at school would be like, "What the hell are you doing?"
Yeah, especially our generation. We've got back to that school fight. Yeah,
and I think that's great because they can express themselves and all this drama and stuff. But it's a big platform because the people that have businesses. If you think of a clothing brand, well, your whole target market is on one app. That's just phenomenal.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or you sell iPhone cases, iPhone like cameras, or you know what I mean, like the little lights on them. I just think TikTok will only get bigger because the kids are on there now. I say the kids, people up to kind of like up to the 19, 20-year-olds. But now what you'll see is the general age will start creeping up, and you will find things like the web designers on there and the car, do you know what I mean, car adverts, because the age will be creeping up. So yeah, TikTok's going to be the next biggest thing, but I would say Facebook first, Instagram, and then TikTok if you're any good at dancing to Sean Paul.
To be fair, yeah. I've got a TikTok account because I've just been consuming some content. I can't dance, so I'm like, okay, I've got to think of something different where hopefully some of this content will go. I can't dance, so I'm not going to bother trying to dance either. Probably not a pretty sight for anybody who knows me deep down. Cool.
What would you say is what would you say to a client? What are the social media channels that you need?
Again, it depends on what they're looking for. I mean, if you're a business, right? If you're an absolute business, I'd go in LinkedIn. The reason I say LinkedIn because the organic growth there, you can put a reasonably good post out who likes, and that view count will go up. It's not the moment where if you're doing it between friends on Facebook, the top 5 people actually look at your profile regularly will be able to look at it. If you do a good piece of content or have a good piece of content and that gets shared a couple of times, the reach on that is huge. Where so for me, I'd be like, if you're a business, and especially you do B2B, a lot of the time is LinkedIn. I think you've got to have an account on there. It's still scary the amount of people that don't. But again, I'm coming back from a recruiter's background where LinkedIn was pretty decent to use. It was good for that reason. But for me, I think we've just set up one where I'm working now, and we've had. I think I've grown that. It's been about 3-4 weeks worth of content. We're up to I think 5 or 6 followers, which I know is not a massive amount. But we've had more followers on that than we have anywhere else at the moment, which is
5% more than it was at the beginning.
Exactly, yeah. So we've got, I think on Instagram now, I've only got 1 or 2. We're just figuring out what the best way to do it. And then, so yeah, I think LinkedIn in terms of that's good. I think it ultimately depends on what you're going to market, how much you're going to spend, what you're looking for. I think Facebook's great. I think Instagram's good. There's a lot of crossovers now because they're owned by the same company. I think YouTube's really good, especially if you can do vlogs and blogs and podcasts and so on and so forth. I think you've just got to then figure a way to go LinkedIn. If your target audience is younger, as you were saying, and TikTok, where everybody's at the moment, I mean, you just need to go to the Google Play from my Android phone and see what's been downloaded the most social media-wise, and you'll see LinkedIn, top, Facebook, still all up there. So yeah, I think they're all good for their own way. You just got to figure out which one is going to be good. But I think if you're B2B, LinkedIn, you can't be LinkedIn. My personal opinion, anyway. Quickly moving on from that one. Talking about followers, does the amount of followers matter?
No.
Okay. Overview on that, reason why?
Sorry, yeah. That's a really shit podcast answer, that, isn't it? Just no.
I was trying to press it for an answer.
No, I think I would rather have 500 followers that interact with my content than 10,000 followers. It is a shame because Instagram algorithms and everything like that will favour the accounts that have more followers, and you will get more interaction from people that want you to do influencer marketing. But I would rather have a good amount of followers that always interact with my content. That would be my personal view on it.
So you're talking about brand earlier, personal brand especially.
Yeah.
So I was going to go brand versus a company. I think the famous saying goes, isn't it? You don't go to Nike to buy a pair of trainers. You go and buy Nike because it's Nike, isn't it? Or Apple because it's an Apple phone, isn't it? You don't go. You know they do phones, but deep down it's because they're brand. I want the brand more than the actual probably the product, because if you think about it now, especially on the phone market, everyone's caught up with Apple, in my opinion. Some of it surpassed it, but you still have the Apple phone because it's Apple. So, we talked about personal brands earlier. Brand versus company or personal branding. Why should people look at doing a personal brand or making sure their company becomes more of a brand than the other way around? What's your views on that?
I would always say brand, because it doesn't matter what company you work for in the world. Your brand is your company, really. If you think about it like that, your face is your business card. It's all these cheesy corporate lines. You know what I mean? But it's so true that if you work for your company now and you have 5 clients that work with your company because of you, if you up and left to another company, they would come with you because they bought into you as a person. You've got to create your own personal brand. It doesn't matter if you work for a huge corporate company, you've got to build your own personal brand. And that's where the likes of LinkedIn are perfect for it. If you think all these people are talking to you on LinkedIn, they like the stuff that you put out, and then all of a sudden you up and leave and move to another company, nothing's changed, but your job title on your LinkedIn, people are still going to be speaking to you. People are still going to be interacting with you. That's how it should be in real life. They want to work with you rather than the company that you work for.
This is not a brag, because trust me, I didn't do much content when I was a recruiter, but the amount of times that I'd have old candidates come back to me, "God, Gareth, I'm looking for a job." Yeah, recently, I'm like, I don't work in it anymore, but I can put forward to somebody I do know that can help you out. I've had about 6 in the last probably 3 months since the start of the year before obviously all this happened.
To your personal brand, isn't it?
Obviously, I must have done something when I spoke to him on the phone for them to go, "Oh, think of Gareth to
want
another job." Because he placed me somewhere a couple of years ago who were happy to get that job. So, like you say, it is important.
Definitely.
Cool. Okay. And in sales v marketing, very over. You've got salesmen that goes marketers just do stuff for the sake of it. You go marketers that go, you don't really, to the salesman, you don't really send that message home. But they work together. They work so close together. It's ridiculous. But there are each other like that all the time. Have you got any particular views on that at all, or they just echo?
You need to do both, really. You can't have sales without marketing, and there's no marketing if you're not bringing any sales in. So you need to be working on the leads that you've got now, but you need to be doing marketing now to make sure you've got leads in the future to work on. So they have to work hand in hand. And you always see clashes in it, because salesmen are very much, right, what have you got for me now? Whereas marketers are like, right, what can we create in 6 months' time? And because that's where you balance.
That's where you get like a lot of companies will now put their marketing budget down. It's first thing to go, marketing budget, purely because they're like, I need sales to the door. But then,
but then in 6 months' time, they'll be scratching around going, well, why haven't we got so many leads? Because you cut the marketing 6 months ago.
Yeah. It's about planning 6, 9, 12 months ahead of yourself, maybe 2, 3, 6, 5 years if you've got to. So, yeah, I agree with that.
You can't just out today. You can't say, I've got 5 leads today. That's amazing. Great. What happens next week when I've dealt with all those leads? And then you think, well, where are the new leads coming from? Well, we didn't do anything last week to influence this week. So what can you expect? You've put nothing in, so you're going to get nothing out. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. Yeah, can't disagree with you. I can't disagree at all.
That's quite good for Gatch, that Gatch can't argue, because I know it's one of his favourite hobbies.
I don't always argue. I'm quite, actually, the first few podcasts, I actually listen quite a bit more than talks. I know it's hard to believe. I know anybody knows me. If I've got an opinion on something, voice. Obviously, this podcast is a voice-orientated sort of piece of content. Obviously, I can turn it into a video. I can turn it into other bits of content and so forth. Yeah, probably all the gurus are on, especially LinkedIn and around YouTube, social media, saying voice is going to matter. You got any points of view on that? Because I have heard you do from time to time.
Yeah, voice, it's going to be big. I mean, if you think now you can just set a reminder on your phone just by voice, or you can set an alarm on your phone, it saves me, this is a first world problem, it saves me opening my phone, directing to the clock, pressing alarm and setting the time. I could just say it on my phone. Do you know what I mean? That seems so trivial, but it's true. The big thing tying in personal branding to voice, and again, this is what Gary Vee talks about, is in 5-10 years' time, instead of me, say if an estate agent, for example, instead of me saying, Alexa, book me an appointment book me a valuation with an estate agent, Amazon have been paid $5,000 by Jones's estate agents to be top of that list. So Amazon won't even give me a choice. They will just say, yep, I've booked you an appointment with Jones estate agents next week. Okay. What you need to be doing is, if you've created that brand, go, Alexa, book me an appointment with Gareth Surdo estate agents. Now, the reason that they say Gareth Surdo's estate agents, because the last 5 years, you've been building a brand. So you haven't paid Amazon to make sure that you're top of the list. The customers ask for you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
I'm saying that to the podcast if they can all respond. But it's you've got to make sure that, you've got to put it in the comments. You've got to make sure that your brand is the strongest, so they ask for you, because Amazon will just book valuations for houses with the highest bidder. At the minute, Google AdWords, you can have 2 companies up there, or you could have all your search results beneath. With voice, that's not going to be an option. They're just going to sell information to the highest bidder. That's it. So that's where I think branding now is going to help you with voice in 5 years' time.
Those voice is going to be the new Google Ads, isn't it? Instead of bidding to get to 1, 2, or 3, you're just going to be, right, I need, I don't know, a bottle of water. What would be 24 bottles of water? And they'll go, Evian or Buxton or whoever, wouldn't they? Whoever pays for that most to be number 1 in the search result.
Exactly, yeah, that's exactly what it is. So Evian have bid them $5,000, but Buxton have said $10,000. So Alexa is going to order me 12 bottles of Buxton because they've paid Amazon's the highest bidder. And this is where Google need to be really careful. They need to get their Google Home above Amazon, because without that, what have Google actually got? Amazon's going to be the voice, and Amazon's going to be the search engine, essentially. So what has Google got left then? They've not got Google AdWords left. They've not got any search engine left. I will do all of my searching for whatever I need through my Amazon Alexa. So Google have really got to step it up, and I would be worried for them that they're not going to embrace this voice side of things as they should be doing.
Is it as good? I haven't got a Google Home.
I haven't dealt with it either, to be fair. But if I said to you, what's the name of a voice device in your house, what would be the first one you go to?
Brand, not Amazon, but the brand Alexa. Yeah,
Alexa. That's it. Simple. We've got one of those. When people change from I'm going to search for something on the internet, they're saying now I'm going to Google it. Well, how many times have somebody said, "Oh, I've got one of those Alexa thingies at home"? It might even be a Google Home, but they're calling it an Alexa thingy because that's the one that's a brand.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
A tangent there.
Yeah, no, it's true though, isn't it? It's the Alexa thingy. That's true. Everyone says that. I got Alexa, and you go there, and it's like, oh, it's a Google Home or whatever. Automatically.
Yeah, it's the Alexa thingy.
Going on about personal brand, and obviously we've talked a little bit about social media. I mean, I think we could go a lot more in depth. But if someone says, "Well, why have I got to change and go on to social media? Because what I've done is always worked, and that's just having 10 salesmen and bang out 100 calls a day, and eventually we've got business." What would you say to them to sort of change their mind at all? Have you got anything that you'd sort of give them an example?
I'd always say they need to get away from the interruption marketing. So, like you say there, the phone calls, that's interruption marketing, because it's something that interrupts their day to day. So I'm sat here doing a podcast, and if I got a call now from a call centre, I wouldn't want to pick it up because it's interrupting my day. Whereas if on Facebook I've uploaded something that's quite valuable, again, say if it's like a woodwork class, I upload a video of me doing woodwork. As I'm scrolling through, it's not so much interrupting me like pop-up ads used to. It's within the feed, so it's obviously we call it organic, but it's natural and it's not interrupting. So yes, your Facebook page is there, you're doing loads of calls, you're advertising in the yellow pages, but they're all interrupted marketing techniques. Whereas what we're trying to do is to really integrate it into people's day-to-day lives, so it doesn't look like you're ramming your product down their throat. you're slowly mentioning it, and they're seeing it now and again on Facebook or Instagram. That would be my answer to somebody that says, well, I'm fine with my social channels.
And what about those that say they haven't got time, which I hear time and time again? It's like I haven't got time to mess about with social. What's your ultimate? You just say what I say. We're going to be left behind, and this is the reasons why. Have you got?
This is where we step in and do it for you. Essentially.
Yeah, exactly. On the ultimate sales message, yeah.
All we're selling with social media management is time. People haven't got the time to sit there and schedule 3 posts a week or create 3 posts a week. Like for me, I haven't got time to service my car, so I'll go and pay somebody to do it. Or I haven't got time to wash the car. That's why I go and get a machine to do it. It's all about time. That's all people are paying for.
I think it's like most businesses, isn't it? It's time. Why do you get a Tesco order? So I don't have to go to the shops in my life. It's
why do we pay an accountant to do all of the returns? Because it's time.
Yeah.
You don't want to be sat there going through all your figures. You want to hire a professional that knows what he's doing and can do it in half the time that I was going to.
So there you go, everybody. It's not so much we're actually selling, or anybody does it from a freelancer's point of view, not actually selling media services, we're actually selling time. You can concentrate on what works.
You think Just Eat, so justeat.com, I could easily go out, get dressed, go out to the chippy, say pizza shop, go to the pizza place, grab a pizza, come back, half an hour it would probably take me. That would be it, okay? Or I could order it through Just Eat on my phone when I'm sat on the sofa, and I could watch another hour of Netflix. So there, I've saved myself an hour's worth of time half an hour's worth of time just by using that app. That app saved me time. It's done nothing different. It's just delivered it to me.
Yeah. Yeah. That's probably a better example than I could give, to be honest with you. Going out then for other people that go, all right, then, so what's the perfect amount of content to put out? Because the one thing I find a lot of people get, that winds me up. They go, you need to be perfect every post. And the reality is every post is not going to be perfect. Some posts you're going to get millions of likes, some you're not going to get 0, and nobody's going to pay attention to it. It is like adding a newspaper as an example. Is there for anybody who's wondering now, for perfection purposes, is there the perfect amount of content at any one time?
I would say 3 posts a week minimum. That would be my advice. 3 posts a week. I'd always post one at the weekend. I'd post one midweek, and then the other one can fall as and when you want, really.
Yeah, I was going to say, I remember arguing with somebody who used to do some of the marketing with me at another job. I'm not going to say who, I'm not going to say where it was, but I remember talking about it, and I was like, you got to post on the weekend, because at least they'll just stay ready for Monday morning. And they would, no, don't need to do it on the weekend. I'm just like, you're crazy. Like, why wouldn't you? But we do it on the weekend.
Most people are on their phones, isn't it? We've just got to say to people it's most effective to do it at this time, and that's why these scheduling tools do work quite well. Like I spoke about Hootsuite the other day on my Instagram, because it is a great way that if you haven't got the time during the week to upload the post, you could set 3 posts to go. Okay, they're not going to be the best post because you're not doing it ad lib, you're not doing it there and then, but at least you're updating your Facebook post. How many people listen to this podcast, search a company on Facebook and realise they haven't uploaded something since November 2019? How does that make you feel? You think, are they still in existence? Why are they not updating? Have they closed? What's going on? Whereas if you logged on there and saw they uploaded a post last week and the week before and then 2 the week before that, you think, all right, let's have a little look a bit deeper, because I know this company's in existence.
More than anything, gives you a bit more credibility. You just pay a little bit more attention. You might go, no interest in the actual post, but if you see 2020, all right, cool, okay, they're still in existence.
Yeah, exactly.
Need to be a consideration to what that person's looking to buy, I think. How I look at it anyway. No, I agree again. Yeah, 100%. In terms of, I was going to talk about people failing on social media, but I think your advice is going to be as mine. It's a long-term game, isn't it? I think people think, I'll put an ad out, like you said, on Facebook. I'm going to get hundreds of, I'm going to make 5 leads straight away. It's not going to be a bit thing at all, really. social media blame game. Now, social media get blamed for everything it does. I'm not saying I'm going to stick up for social media because at times it can't defend itself and what they get up to and the data and all that. But in terms of the blame game, in terms of it's somebody's fault because they did that on Twitter, then what's your? I mean, I know I've got my views on it, but what's your sort of point of view on it in terms of when they go, "Wow, social media is the devil"? I'll just stick to doing what I've always done, or go on social media because it's rubbish because it's my kid as such. Or view on that?
I don't think you can avoid it now. It's part of life, and I think those people that are most against it in 5 years' time will be probably the ones that embrace it most. That side of it, my kids are spending loads of time on social media. Okay, but what are they doing on social media? Are they talking to friends? Are they watching stupid videos? Are they becoming a YouTuber? Do you know what I mean? What are they actually doing on social media? Is it like now? So if we think when I was a kid, I'd probably just talk to all the kids on my block. That's the only people that I'd speak to, and then the people at school. Whereas now, there's kids that can be speaking to people all over the world. And yes, there are the risks that come with that. I completely agree with that. But they are a lot more social in terms of speaking to people, speaking to different types of people than we were kind of 20 years ago. So I think it's a positive instance in that. Obviously, the internet's a horrible place because people are just dickheads. Without people, social media would be great. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
People, there's terrible things about bullying. It's horrible to see it because people can be horrible, and that there's loads of things that people have been put in place. Like I remember seeing something on Instagram that if you write a specific set of words, it comes up and say, "Do you want to check?" It's something like, "Is that kind?" before you post it, and that's artificial intelligence. Then it's working out what humans are going to say to each other. But I think social media is, people don't talk about how much good it does in the world. People were like this about the internet when it came out. They were saying, no, this is the devil. Look at it now. Nobody talks about the internet. They talk about how bad social media is. 5 years' time, there'll be something else. There's always, you can't have something perfect where all humans agree on it.
Yeah.
That would be my stance on social.
Yeah. Agree again. Yeah, I agree. I think it's for anybody. I mean, if anybody's worried about it, then you could directly monitor that, what you're doing on social media. But at the same time, the blame game, I mean, it's not the actual social media's fault, is it? It's the actual person writing it at the other end. It's the individual itself, and I think people forget that. Personally,
not Facebook writing that status for you.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't go, I'll take over and finish it off. It's humans, exactly. We've just changing the way we interact. Yeah. Next question would be free work. Do you do it? Do you agree to it? Should you not do it? Should you do it if you start up?
100% free work, definitely. Definitely. If you're not doing any free work, you are missing out on customers this time next year. So if you're not offering your services to free for people, if you're just starting out as well, you're an absolute douche.
Any particular reason why, or is it just the opportunities?
Because nobody's going to trust you if you haven't got a portfolio of something.
Yeah.
If you came to me and said, Chris, I build the best websites ever, right, where's your proof? I haven't got any, but I want to charge you $3,000 for your website. Well, you can't prove. Yeah, if you go to a company and say, I want to build you the best website ever and I'll do it for free as long as I can use you in my portfolio, great. Let's do it. Then for the next consumer, right, I want to build your website. I can do it for £1,000 opposed to £3,000. This is an example of what you've done. I'm giving you a discounted rate here. Or you might do free websites. But if you're starting out in something, I think free work is the way to build your portfolio and really show people that you're serious about what you do.
And I would say, I'll add to that as well. I think the biggest thing as well, people don't do or free work, but that means I've got to pay for the cost of running and so on and so forth. Sometimes, is that a bad thing? Not really. I mean, I do it. I've done it before. I pay for the running of the website, but I get something at the end of it, which is a win-win on both sides. But at the same time, if you ask most people, can you just contribute to the upkeep of XYZ, just so I can do the rest of the work for you, I'll do it with me because I want to win. We're not going to spend a stupid amount of money to get, or what they appear to be a stupid amount of money to get the service they want. What's your best piece of content going off the back of that? Do you think you've done?
Do you know what? I think I've started doing like a series of Target talks at the minute, which they started because I went out for my daily exercise like a dog when we've been locked down, taken out for a walk and a dump up the lamppost. No, I don't dump up lampposts just before anybody says anything. Yeah, so those are just things, me talking about how people can help to grow their business. And I'm getting a lot of messages at the minute. They might just be very simple things like personal branding that we spoke about, how to schedule social media posts. I am getting some shit from mates, obviously, like, you're a dickhead doing a video, you look like a knob, just as a joke, obviously. But then I'm getting a load of people message me saying, oh, what do you mean by this? Or how have you done that on that video? Or what should I do here? That, for me, that's free work. I'm giving out content that I do every day for free to people, but it's valuable because people are getting in contact with me. So I would say that's probably one of the things that I'm getting most interaction on at the moment. And the reason I'm getting that is because I'm providing value. And with this lockdown, I think everybody's having to do that, like personal trainers doing free classes on the internet, companies doing free pub quizzes, those kind of things. People are having to offer free work. And I think people have got round to it. But if you're not offering free work, especially at the beginning, for me, it's going to be a lot harder to start. You might get lucky and get that real high-paying client to start with, but it'll be a lot harder than if you gave 5 free products and was able then to show somebody your portfolio.
Cool. Yeah, I agree, 100%. Yeah, that's why I knew I'd get you on as well, because I need to take a lot of value just in that for people to take a different point of view on stuff. I know I've got a few more questions, and I know you not too much longer, so I'll zip through a few and we mix out a couple. Have you got a favourite piece of content you actually love? It doesn't have to be your stuff, anybody's.
There's a guy called Ergu Gallen, I think it is, URGU, on Instagram. Check him out. He does photography.
Yeah.
It's not Ergu Gallen, but it's Euro Gallen, I think. But he does photos, like first world, third world photos. I don't know if I can find it. But yeah, his content is absolutely stunning. Absolutely love it. And it's nothing to do with social. It's nothing to do with like digital marketing or anything. But it's just here we go. It's just amazing. So
I think he's going to hold up the camera if anybody's going to actually watching this by video.
So you see like the red carpet there, and then he's integrated it into a woman holding a baby. Some of it is there's like a guy there sleeping on his sofa, and then there's a bloke sleeping on the streets behind the police barricades.
I don't know.
Yeah, he's awesome. So his name's Ugur Gallen, UGURGALLEN. He's fantastic on Instagram.
There you go. So he's got a free plug from Target over here. So he's got an absolute free plug.
Podcast.
Maybe we should. You've been a frontline worker, as in when I say frontline, as in general guy in the shop floor, as an example. You've also been in management. Between the two, is there something, because I know your style of management is very different to somebody else that I've worked with in the same place. And I always felt you got a bit more out of most of the staff than the other person, or the other people, per se. That's my personal opinion anyway. Although is that definitely respect there. Is there something that people are not getting in terms of management wise? Just day-to-day running of people. I know sometimes some people don't really want to do it, or management is a pain in the ass, but it is part of business. Is there something you think that the frontline worker doesn't get about management?
I don't say I do anything different. I just found with management, it was always being part of the team instead of just standing up and barking orders. And I think that's how anybody would want to be treated. You don't want somebody above you to feel as if they're looking down on you. You want to feel as if they're with you. It's like the difference between a manager and a leader, isn't it? In no way, shape or form am I saying I was a leader, but I always was always was, let's do this all together, rather than I'll sit here and you go and do that. That's where I think, and that's why I don't think you can become a manager in any industry unless you've worked your way up that ladder. So you see things like estate agents, for example, where the director goes in, or the MD or whatever it might be, goes straight in at the top and has never done estate agency before. Well, that's just a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
Which actually happened at Dixon's, because they put somebody in that had never been an estate agent. Well, how can you give tips on how to run a company as an estate agent when you used to work in the health industry?
It's sort of, even looking from that point of view, it's also understanding what, say, you as the agent going through, or why you didn't get that sale. So if you've been in there, you're like, okay, you didn't get it because X, Y, Z. I understand. I totally get it. Where I suppose somebody else comes from a different business and comes in, they're just, well, why did you get it? It didn't seem that hard to me, but I've not done it.
Have that knowledge, haven't you? That's what I think. With any kind of management, you have to have gone through that process to understand what the staff are doing.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
And that's where, just a little story about Starbucks in 2008, when they went around the recession, through the recession, the head honcho at the time, instead of just sitting in the office, whenever he finished work at 6 o'clock, he visited, I think it was about a year, visited all the Starbucks stores, worked a shift with the staff and said to the staff, right, what are we doing wrong? What can we improve on? And that was him going in, because the people on the front line, we always spoke about this at Direct Gold, they knew what was going on in the market. They have their finger to the pulse of the market. So that's why he went down to the shop level and said to people, right, what do we need to change? Look at Starbucks now. Starbucks it's like a fashion brand, isn't it? It's a brand, yeah. It's not just somewhere you go to get coffee.
Yeah. 100. I think that's the other thing as well. People have not. I'm always a big advocate of it. Isn't city stuff on the front line? They know.
Yeah.
It was like a big thing in the call centre. They'd change something. That like, well, what the? And everybody would moan. 100 agents. Well, hang on a minute. This is not going to make our job harder, and it's not what the customer wants. But they'd just go through with the decision. Whereas, like, well, hang on a minute. You got 100 guys going. Hang on. And I'm not saying every single person's going to have the answer for it. And I know some are natural moaners, and I get that within the workforce. But I think listening and just going, okay, well, we can meet you halfway on something, make sure the customer's happy. It's not. Yeah. I think that's solid bit of advice there, Target. I'll do. Quick 5 questions, really. What company do you not want to start, but which somebody else would?
Oh, that's a good question, man. What company do I want people to start, but I couldn't do it myself?
Well, not so much couldn't, but wouldn't.
Wouldn't. That's a tricky one, that.
So for me, as an example, I would go probably run a golf course or run a driving range, but I wouldn't want to do it again. Worked in it, done it. Well, go away. I just want to enjoy the game. Otherwise, I'd cry. It's like every night if I had to golf again, I guess. Unless it was something different.
So somebody to start up like a high-tech golf range or something.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, something totally different. I think competitors, American golf won't go amiss, I guess. But then again, I wouldn't want to do it myself, if you know what I mean. Even though I think it's great.
You know what? Actually, talking about that, somebody to set up something to get kids back into golf, because I loved it when I was a kid. But somebody needs to do something like, for example, Joe Wicks this week. He's got kids back into PE just by doing something fun and a bit different.
Yeah.
There needs to be somebody to grab the ball by the horns in the golf industry and say, right, my job over the next 10 years is going to be to get kids back into golf. I think that's one thing I'd want to see.
I think the lad I've just done an interview with a couple of days ago, Morgan Jackson, he does his own golf school camps for kids. Yeah. Does it for the week. And he's like, worst case scenario, it's cheap. It's daycare. Best case scenario is somebody joins the golf club as a 10-year-old. He says he's been quite successful with that. So yeah, I think so, something like that, but more on a broader scale, wouldn't?
Yeah, on a national scale.
What's the biggest myth in business that you've heard?
Fake it till you make it. Standard. Okay. I just don't see how you can fake something that you've never. Imagine me coming to you and go, right, Gatch, I can grow your business by £1 million next year. You go, have you done it yourself? Yeah, I've definitely done it myself. That's faking it till you make it, no. But if I came to you and said I could help grow your Facebook page, well, I've definitely done it. I'm not faking it there. So I don't believe in fake it till you make it. I believe in getting the right mindset and getting your mindset as if you've already achieved it in your mind and acting with that confidence. But I don't believe in faking it till you make it.
Best piece of advice you've been told or heard or read?
Best piece of advice, it would probably be to get somebody on your side if you ever sell into them. Get them to find that common ground with them, because then they're more likely to open up to you. And that was from the Darren Legg days at Direct Golf. Getting somebody on side, making them your friend, really, and that's all sales is. That you've got to make sure they buy into you as a person.
He was, just the context of that, when he says Darren Legg, he was one of the managers at Direct Golf. I think he's still working in the golf industry. I think he was one of those chaps who could literally sell ice to Eskimos, but at the same time, anybody that walk in, even the most moodiest of customers that wouldn't want to talk to you, he was the only one of the very few in there that would actually be able to mate out of it with the scenario and get a sale out of it, or they'd be back for it. He was extremely good at that. So, getting them on side straight away and finding that level playing field, isn't it, where they sort of relate to each other. Which is biggest lesson you've learned in business so far?
Is to get payment or 50% payment up front. I had a problem with that when I was younger. Built a whole website for somebody, and then they went, well, my supplier's not paying me, so I can't pay you. I was like, wicked. So so I always look at getting 50% up front on things. That would be my lesson in business.
Is there anything particularly next in your business career? I'm guessing the golf vouchers, but have you got anything else lined up?
Yeah, golf vouchers, and a company dedicated just to mortgage advisors and their social media.
Cool.
Those are my next two things on the horizon.
Hobby-wise, I mean, I know you obviously work in golf. You got to like it. I don't think I've ever met anybody who works in golf who doesn't like it. Yeah. Is there anything totally outside of work as a whole that you get up to in your spare time, if you've got any spare time? That is, I know it can be a bit.
I used to play squash a bit. I got into that. Quite enjoyed that. That was good. But I don't really. Obviously, try and keep fit. I've been for one run in the last 6 months. No, that's sad, isn't it? That is really sad. I've really just got to do a life with it. But no, I just enjoy building the business. I think that's probably one of my hobbies, to be fair. Is just slowly grinding away at it and watching it get bigger and bigger.
I know what you mean, because I like, somebody's asked me the same question before. I was like, I enjoy listening to business podcasts. I'm sure I could talk about it. Do you know what I mean? It's something that I'd probably start up, or at least a podcast of some kind. And people go, "You're sad? What do you mean? Why would you do that?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, sorry if that's not your cup of tea." Yeah.
Some people love going to the gym, but I've got massive respect for people that love being at the gym. That's such a good hobby to have. It's one of the best things you can do.
I've tried it about 90 times. I'm going to get into the gym this year, or I'm going to get into the gym this quarter. That's what I'm going to do. We're going to get into the gym this month. And every time I go, I don't know how you can come in every night. Oh, it's boring. Yeah.
It's fair play to them. Absolutely.
Yeah. Not my cup of tea. I know that. I think I've got the player sport to really enjoy something. I guess.
That's why I enjoy squash so much, because it's so good for fitness, but your mind's not on the fitness. It's more about the winning. When you go and play golf, you're not thinking, I'm going to walk 3 miles today. That's really good for my health. You're thinking about, I want to win a game of golf.
Yeah, I guess so. I think last year I did a little bit. I went on a big diet. So I was like, well, I'll have to go and play golf. It's 3 miles. So in the end, having to walk 3, 4, 5 miles took it off because I was playing golf at the time. I played a lot of golf because of that. So it just worked like that. So the same thing. I started playing rugby 4 years ago. I've not played for about 18 months. Loved to go and play rugby, but hated training. Training, just go away. Making them do suicide, go away. I'm 28. At the time, I was like, I'm 28, I'm doing suicides. I did this when I was 14 playing football. Just go away, yeah. So, it was that. Sort of conclude, really. What are you looking I know you probably answered it anyway, but is there anything you're looking forward to? And don't say, out of isolation or out of, get this lockdown over and done with, because everyone's going to say that, and I've tried to keep it away from that while these are being recorded.
Yeah, just I think knowing that I've been successful in something in a business, knowing that I've built something up to a point where I can say this is my empire, this is what I've built. That's what I'm ultimately looking forward to.
Cool.
And obviously a beer garden.
Yeah. I think that's on the high priority list now. I think as soon as this is over. What inspires you?
What inspires me? Well, seeing other people develop. That, I know that sounds really corny, but it is just if I give somebody some help and they turn around to me and say, that was perfect, that's exactly what I needed, and it helped me in X, Y, Z. That's what inspires me. I obviously listen to the big people, the big business podcasts and those type of things. And yeah, they inspire me, but I like the Joe Blogs text to say, oh, I've done this, and you're like, oh, that inspires me to do even more now.
Cool. Who inspires you? Is there anybody in particular that inspires you?
I couldn't put a finger on somebody that like an actual person that inspires me.
What's something you failed at? You what?
Who would yours be that inspires you?
I haven't got anybody who inspires me, but I will have a go-to list of people or go-to list of books I will go just to remind myself of stuff to get me back in that mood if I'm having a day. For example, I'll put a Gary Vee podcast on one of his vlogs. Do you know what? He's grafting something, roll sleeves, let's get going on. I don't listen, like I said to you earlier, I don't listen to all of his stuff. Do you know what I mean? But he's one. Who else? It's not so much an inspiring thing, but I will watch and I feel, from a creative side, let's get the creative. For Casey Neistat, is that how you pronounce it? His vlogs, they're pretty. He's been doing it for years. He used to do a daily vlog, one of the first ones. He was in New York City, so that makes you okay. Yeah, he's creative with it. He stopped doing it now, just like a video a month after so long.
All right.
I mean, that's pretty cool. Look at and watch. Probably I send you. That's I wouldn't say inspire, but goes okay, gets the juices going again. If that makes sense, just from a
puts you back on track almost. Yeah.
If there's a day I don't really fancy doing a bit of website work and marketing, come on, and I'll may from time to time stick him on. That tends to help. What's something you failed at but also succeeded at as well? Business point of view, it doesn't have to be business if you ain't got anything, but
I think it's especially with doing the website side of things, you do get some failures, you do get broken websites, but it's then overcoming that and finding out how to fix it. That's just a daily thing, really. I can't think of a massive failure that I've had that I've then succeeded at, but there's just loads of little failures that you'll have through building a business, which I'm learning. But then you make sure you don't do the same thing again, so then you succeed in the future.
Yeah. Is there a different scenario that you've been successful at? I thought that was never going to happen. And yes, a little tiger fist bump or anything like that. Or
probably the first website I ever built, or the first positive comments that I had off the back of doing some of these social media. You think to yourself, I've got these skills, but they're not very useful. Yet you use them to help somebody and they come back to you and go, that was fucking amazing. You think, oh shit, actually I've helped quite a lot there. That's where I feel I'd be successful.
And sometimes you don't think of that. I think I'm just everyday type of scenario, but that person's quite thankful of it. What are you good at and what are you bad at? Could be anything, by the way.
What am I good at? Probably doing things in a logical order. What I'm bad at is overthinking things. So working from home, I've had to set myself time things, because then I think, oh, I could be doing this or I could be doing that. The shiny syndrome, that's what I'm going to call it. Jumping from one thing to the next.
Magpie, as we used to call it. Shiny, and jump over there. Yeah. Have you got any goals coming up, short term, long term, or any dreams coming up? I suppose by the sounds of it, it's just going to keep building your business. But have you got anything that's coming up, or anything in your head for the next month of doing this?
So over the next month, it will be to get 5 new clients for the social media side of things, and then I've got long term goals all the way through to 2030.
Cool.
So
Is that like once a year? I guess you're going to try and think off.
Yeah. Well, so it breaks down 1, 3, 5, and then 10 years from 2020. But if you're ever going to set a goal, if anybody's going to set a goal, I'd always say to visualize it. It will always make it stick in your mind more so than if you just write it down every day.
And work towards it as well. Got to work. That's the one thing I would. Is there anything is there anything or something I should have asked and haven't? Bangwig.
No, I think there's been some really good questions in this, really thought-provoking ones that just don't give you that yes or no answer apart from mine. But yeah, no, I think you've covered a lot of business stuff, but also some personal stuff as well. It's been really good.
Cool. Good to hear, actually, because that's the whole point I'm trying to go for. Tell us something we should know about you that no one else does.
Oh, bloody hell.
Oh, yeah, there you go. I'll get you on that one.
I can't do needles.
I'm the same. I hate
needles.
You know, you're going there like that. So basically, about 2 years ago, I was playing rugby. I clashed with somebody else's head. My nose is out here and a massive lump on my head. It's on social somewhere. Like that. I look like an absolute zombie. But it was my own player. So I was coming for a tackle from the side, but left my head there, and he's coming flying that way. And my nose has just gone into next week. And I've had to go, and I said, "Do you want it straightened?" I was like, "Well, yeah, because I can't breathe through it." I want to go. And I'm there like that with my arm. And just as they're about to put me to sleep to do the operation, I'm like, "This? I go, what's wrong with you?" They were like, a big rugby player like you, and you go, "Oh, needle, just go away. Leave me alone." Yeah, I
can't have blood. I'll just pass out. That's the one thing.
Cool. What was the other? There's probably one or two more just to finish off. Who should I try and get on this podcast that you know?
Who would I say? You could get Mark James on here from a golfer's point of view. He'd be game for it. And who else? It would be good to get a business owner that you've dealt with and what changes they've seen of how social media's helped them. That would be quite interesting.
I think I'll have to get the boss on here, I reckon. I'm trying that down here.
Yeah.
I'll have to get the boss on here, really. I'm trying to get him on here when he's got...
It would be good for people to see, look, I didn't think social media was a big thing, but after doing X, Y, and Z, I've actually found that it's really helped my business.
Yeah, I think so. What's coming up next? I know you sort of answered it, but this is your chance now. You can have as long as you want or as short as you want to plug yourself.
Right, I'm not going to be one of these people that plugs everything, but I'm just going to say, if you're going to follow me, get me on Instagram, Chris Targett. You'll get me on there, or on Facebook on Target Design. You'll see stupid stuff on Instagram, but you'll get great tips for all your social media channels. And if you're a golf fan, go on to golfcoursevouchers.com. Screwed that up. Golfcoursevouchers.com and sign up to the email, and we'll let you know when the website's going live. It will be simple. You'll log on to the website when it's all up and running. You'll have a list of courses you can choose from, and you'll have 2 set prices for a 2-ball and for a 4-ball. Buy that voucher, book it with a golf course, job done. No mucking about with how much is it on this day, how much is it on that day. That voucher will stipulate when you can play. You'll pay the money and it will be done. It's as simple as that. So get onto there and register. Any questions you've got, hit me up on social or help with anything social media. Obviously, Gatch is big on it as well. But yeah, those are my 2 things that I'm going for at the minute. And thank you, Gatch, for letting me pitch those bad boys on here.
That's what it's all about, mate. I'd try and make it for everybody. Maybe, that's the best. I've done 5 of these so far. That's the best pitch I've heard so far. Just look at yourself. I'll give you that.
Awesome.
Yeah, exactly. That is the best he's got. Right. Social, website. There's my other 2 businesses. This is what I do. Come on, let's have you. So yeah, I'd say that is definitely the one of the best pitches I've had. From me, thanks for coming on, mate. Much appreciated. Like I say, you're one of my top 10. First season, let's try and get Target on if I can. There was a bunch of others that I've managed to get on as well, but you were definitely in there because I know just what you're about, what you stand for, in terms of how polite, positive, and just kindness you've got in terms of business-wise and personal. And I knew exactly from this podcast there'll be an absolute ton of value. So I'm sure by the time I've edited it, cut it down, put it into videos and all that malarkey, I'm sure anybody who's probably come across any of this, even if it's 5 people, I'm sure they'd pick up something off it, which I think they will do.
Definitely.
I'd like to
One
thank you,
thing
mate.
I have to do now is obviously just take a selfie of us. There we go. And
Okay.
that's on the socials.
You definitely, I was going to say, you definitely saw me doing something along those lines earlier.
It wasn't at the right angle. There we go. Both thumbs up. Mate, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me on. I hope it goes from strength to strength.
Hopefully.
That's the key word for this podcast.
So hopefully, yeah. Well, hopefully this is something we're just going to commit to for the rest of this year anyway and see how it goes and just continue doing it. I'd like to get you back on at some point anyway. I'm sure there's more to talk about. There's more to talk.
Man, we will. We'll do it again.
Quick one for me. Anybody who's listened to this podcast, even though there might be only 1 or 2 of you, I've deeply appreciated any support, a subscribe, a like, a comment, or anything like that. Even if off of this podcast you contacted this man at the other end of the video or on the podcasting, he got some business out of it, that'd be a major success from my point of view. So a like, share, a comment, even if somebody, as Chris's mate says to him, that you're an absolute knobhead for just doing this, then that would be even appreciated. So anything like that would be great. So I'd like to thank for the listen. This has been Catch Up with Gatch again, Chris Targett, and I think that's more or less we're out of here. Thanks a lot.
Cheers. Thank you.